All right, everyone, I've had my fill of food and I am ready for the last reaction of the day. Ogata, it's always good to see you. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reaction and review. Last we left out on, we had Sukuna going up against Maki, and I wouldn't say it was an even fight. It was just an exchanging of blows between these powerful individuals. And we understand fully what Uraume, how was Zaxby's? It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But it's not going to compare to the meal I'm going to have this week because me and my dad, we always do this traditional thing where we go to Red Lobster on his birthday because I'm also going to be, because I don't celebrate any going out or doing anything major for my birthday. I wait until it's my dad's birthday, which is 3 days after mine, for us to go eat out. And get the ultimate feast from Red Lobster. Snow crab legs, regular shrimp, breaded shrimp, shrimp scampi, and lobster as well, and we always get that. So Zaxby's was good, but it compares to nothing for what we're going to get this week. But last we left out on Jujutsu Kaisen, Maki was going up against Sukuna, and we fully understood what Uraume said when they said that Sukuna was capricious, and no one's been able to give him an interesting fight ever since Gojo died. So they found it insulting for anyone to really put up a fight against Sukuna and not give it their all, or even coax him out of being just mildly entertained. Now, we get an instant where the reason why I say that is because when Maki was fighting Sukuna fully said that this is where I've never felt this before. I feel like I need to this is a fight where I need to prove a point. Which is better, flesh and blood or jujutsu? And it gets to a point where Sukuna shows that Sukuna has not been taking any fights seriously, to the point where Maki, who has been able to keep up with high-speed individuals, Sukuna moves faster than she is able to even react and proceeds to just knock her out of a building, sending her careening into another direction, leaving the only person who can offer up Sukuna a good fight being Kusakabe, who we all know to be the individual to try and avoid these major fights. So let's see what happens in chapter 254, Inhuman Makio Shinjuku Showdown, part 26? Yeah, part 26. And it begins with Kusakabe standing right in front of Sukuna. New shadow style, simple domain, evening moon swordiai. And Sukuna notices, sword drawing against my flying slash attacks. Simple domain can cancel out the guaranteed hit as an anti-domain or anti-barrier tactic, but it can't neutralize the curse technique itself. It's basic, but a domain is a domain. And then it shows Sukuna. It shows Sukuna as he puts his hands forward. Oh wait, this is Kusakabe saying it. Simple domain can cancel out the guaranteed hit as an anti-domain or anti-barrier tactic, but it can't neutralize the curse technique itself. It's basic, but a domain is a domain. And then Sukuna puts his hands forward to use slashes against Kusakabe. Inside this domain, my cursed energy output rises even as Sukuna's techniques slightly weaken. But best of all, and it looks like he swings his sword off to the side as if the slashes didn't affect him at all. I can incorporate my own original program, automatically intercepting anything that intrudes into the domain. He's got good reflexes. So, with this new moon drawing, with this simple domain, he is instinctively deflecting the slashes from Sukuna. He is deflecting in this domain. He's got good reflexes. So far, I've mostly handled Sukuna's slashes by relying on guesswork based on the source of cursed energy and motion, but these should be better. And then he instinctively puts up his sword against his face because a slash almost hits him in the face. And in the process, the whole area around him gets hit by the slashes as well, including the bridge that's behind him. It gets sliced in two, but he just deflects it away. That was scary. Curse technique activation without motion. I'll hit you next time. Here it comes. The slash that cuts the world. Dismantle. And then we go back in time to when everybody was younger, because we got Uraume with Mei. To be honest, in terms of horsepower, Nanami and I are more powerful. It's more that I can't imagine Kusakabe losing than I can imagine him winning. And this is Nanami. He's an excellent swordsman with a wide variety of moves. He can also use barrier techniques, and he has strong analytical and decision-making skills based on his immense knowledge of jujutsu. He's a versatile and useful sorcerer, so I'd want him with me on a deserted island. Then we get Gojo. Plus, he's got a couple of trump cards. He's got simple domain. Beginners need binding vows to do that. Mine vanishes if both my feet leave the ground during activation. Wait, who is saying that? No, that's Miwa. Mine vanishes if both my feet leave the ground during activation. Then we have Gojo again. Remind you, just remembering this is the past. But Kusakabe does it without a binding vow and with a super wide range. And he's just slurping on some food. Then we cut back to the present as Sukuna is preparing to use his world cutting dismantle. The domain of Kusakabe extends towards Sukuna. Aiming for a charge to broaden the curse technique target, he's expanded his simple domain. Then it cuts to the flashback of Mei again. New shadow-style sword drawing is basically a counter that lures the opponent in, but Kusakabe expands simple domain later to draw in his opponent. And his simple domain... Well, I gotta read that again. I dragged out that word a little bit much. Pardon me. New shadow-style sword drawing is basically a counter that lures the opponent in, but Kusakabe expands simple domain later to draw in his opponent. And his simple domain has a program that intercepts anything that invades the domain. When attacking sorcerers who have risen to grade 1 without a cursed technique don't think with their mind, but with their backbone, those they strike don't stand a chance. And then it cuts back to the present as... Yo! We just get this massive array of slashes that surrounds Kusakabe, but he's unscathed because he's the one who did the super speed drawing and winds up cutting Sukuna all over his body. Yo, Kusakabe! We may have another genius. We had Higuromo, but we may have another genius on our hands, and he's the dude that doesn't like to fight strong opponents. But he just... Wow, it's been a minute since Sukuna has actually drawn some blood ever since Yuta's domain expansion. And then we go back to Nanami, back in the past. I don't know anyone who can withstand that. But a certain someone doesn't need to. As Gojo would say, like, I don't need to withstand that at all because I have Limitless. But it shows that when Kusakabe did this, his sword was broken. His sword was broken. And as Sukuna's looking at him and his body is already regenerating thanks to reverse curse technique, he throws his coat in front of him and proceeds to try and punch Sukuna, who immediately tries to grab him, but he dodges out of the way and manages to hit Sukuna underneath his arm. Like, he dodges out of the way and kicks Sukuna directly underneath his arm. And he kicks Sukuna. Kusakabe? Hold up, this is Sukuna flying through the air, though. He kicked Sukuna through the air and sent him flying. This is What? This is Kusakabe? Hold up. I thought he was just kind of like kicking Sukuna's arm. I didn't think he was going to be launching the dude halfway through the freeway. But it shows Sukuna flying through the air and Kusakabe is on him like he's sprinting down the road, and he immediately starts exchanging blows with Sukuna. This isn't like me. Why am I fighting so hard? And then it cuts to his time when he was speaking to Yaga. It's Yaga's fault, because I owe him. What do you think? As it shows Yaga creating like another cursed doll. Yaga is already gone, so maybe that's why. They say the dead don't speak, so we can only imagine what they'd say if they were alive. Even if I don't risk my life in a fight, Yaga wouldn't have criticized me, or refused to let me see my younger sister and Takeru. But they might look a little sad, not because I didn't risk my life, but because he couldn't fight alongside me. But the biggest reason that oh wait, who's saying this? The biggest reason I support Kusakabe is that while he often complains, he's always rational and reliable. In other words... Oh wait, this is everyone. But the biggest reason that I support Kusakabe is that while he often complains, he's always rational and reliable. In other words, and this is Meimei, Nanami, and Gojo saying, he's kind-hearted. And it shows Kusakabe steadily fighting on. He's taken, like he had his big giant trench coat on. Now he's taking off his suit jacket because he's getting into this fight now. This one dude who was cautious about fighting Sukuna is now fully getting invested in this fight. Enough thinking. Miwa and others have become players in the culling game. So if I pull out now, Sukuna will kill them. The kids risk their lives in this fight. As he's getting serious. As an adult, I should do no less. New shadow style. Hazy moon. As he takes his broken sword and creates from the broken portion of his sword, he uses cursed energy to create a brand new blade, just completely composed of cursed energy. It's like the same thing that Asuma does with his chakra blades from Naruto. Sure, you got the regular blades, but with chakra, he's able to extend the range in which they go. He's using cursed energy to replace the blade he just lost. And now his sword is back at full length again. And then it cuts to Sukuna going, you were aiming at... And he rushes Sukuna. All right, he rushes Sukuna instantly. But Sukuna standing there going, you were aiming at my injured heart. That was easy to read. And then it cuts to Kusakabe going, done. And then it shows Kusakabe standing there, like he attempted to stab Sukuna in the heart. And then the next thing we see is Kusakabe laying on the ground with these two big slashes just on his chest. Then we have Uruume, who lands right next to Kusakabe and goes, Kusakabe! And who I knew he was gonna show up. Sukuna appears right behind Uruume. I mean, not Uruume. Ui Ui. Did I call him Uruume when I was talking about Meimei? That was Ui Ui. Ui Ui shows up going, Kusakabe! And Sukuna appears right behind Ui Ui, going, this is starting to get annoying. And then we see the shocked face of Ui Ui, then it's black, and then Ui Ui is just gone. Because Sukuna just tried to kill Ui Ui. And he's looking up and he goes, I don't recognize you. Yo, it's Miguel! It's Miguel! We haven't seen Miguel since Zero? It's been a minute since we've seen Miguel. If you don't know me, you don't belong here. That's why we say island folk have antenna with poor reception. As Miguel is the one who just rescued Ui Ui. So now, the fight with Kusakabe versus Sukuna is done. Now we have Miguel stepping in. You know, same dude that was on the side of Geto before Kenjaku took over his entire body. And, you know, the one guy who had one of the worst anime beatdowns I've ever seen by Gojo, where it was like, where he was just getting done up by Gojo during that whole scene. He's here now. So are we about to get a Miguel versus Sukuna fight now? Because that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of the chapter. That's fairly interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Hollister, good to see you as well. Kusakabe being hyped up by C. So Kusakabe essentially has a manual domain expansion without actually having one. That's cool. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, Takeru, I forgot about that whole thing. Yeah, it's been a minute since that happened. Definitely reminds me of, wait, no, he didn't. No, he didn't, my bad. It definitely reminded me of it, though. We got another player in the game. What can Miguel do? I'm excited to see because I don't think he has that rope anymore. Nah, it's been a long while since he had that cursed rope that he tried to use against Gojo, but literally did nothing. So I don't know what Miguel has now. If I look up Miguel in JJK and just what his actual abilities are. Yeah. Initially, he was one of Gato's commanders who wished to see him become king. Now, the thing is, he returned to Kenya, and he's actually one of the people that trained Yuta, to believe it or not, because I forgot about that. He did interact with Yuta a little while after the events of the Night Parade of 100 Demons during that time. But he's actually one of the community. He's one of the sorcerers from a community that trained Yuta when Yuta went overseas. So Miguel is actually one of Yuta's teachers. So and his jujutsu. He has great cursed energy. As one of Suguro Geto's strongest former allies, Miguel is highly regarded in a group that recognizes only sorcerers. Miguel's strength and ranking suggests he has high levels of cursed energy, and he was able to harden his body in order to take hits from Satoru by manipulating it as well. How dense that can become up against Sukuna, that remains to be seen. Miguel's prowess for cursed energy control is further proven by the results of Yuta's training. His knowledge of how to manipulate cursed energy helped Yuta gain an advanced understanding as well. Like I said, one of his teachers. So the equipment he had was the Black Rope, a cursed tool comparable to a special grade ranking, which took Miguel's sorcerer family generations to weave. It can disrupt and cancel out the effects of cursed techniques. However, the more it's used... Pardon me. The more it's used, the more the rope burns away until nothing is left. Miguel used all his rope in his fight with Satoru Gojo, and his clan in Africa doesn't have any left over. So yeah, the rope is completely gone. But we don't know what all Miguel can do, especially after all this time. And actually right here it says, and it was actually in chapter 143. It was in 143 where he was following their battle. Miguel would reluctantly meet Satoru again. Forced to take on Yuta as his protege, Miguel appears to harbor resentment towards Satoru and has no desire to see him. It's also worth mentioning Yuta and Miguel appear to get along well enough despite the former's role in Suguru's end. So that's the relationship that they have. You carried me through Demon Slayer, and know you're carrying me through JJK now. ATJ, happy to be of service. And there's no break. Yeah, there's no break. What can Miguel do? I'm excited to see because, we don't know what all he can do. Do you think he has a curse technique? I mean, he has to. He's got to have a curse technique. Because he doesn't have the Black Rope anymore, and it's going to take like many generations for another one to be forged. Like, it's literally through his family's lineage was that Black Rope created. But he doesn't have that anymore, and it's going to take far too long to create a brand new one. So he's got to have a curse technique that we just haven't seen yet. That's the assumption. Just keep that in mind. That's just the assumption. Because we don't know what he can do fully. Because during the entire time that we saw him during the events of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, both the manga and the anime as well, especially the movie, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, we only seen him use the Black Rope, explain what it was, Gojo said he didn't care, and then proceeded to get his behind handed to him by Gojo. But we don't know what all Miguel can do. We do know from this description that he's capable of using cursed energy to increase his own density and, make it so that even someone as strong as Gojo doesn't leave lasting effects on him, which is substantial even in and of itself, because Gojo is capable of ripping the limbs off of special grade curses with ease. So for Miguel to be able to not only survive that full-on barrage from Gojo, but live to tell the tale and come out of it without any noticeable or at least lasting marks whatsoever, speaks on his level of cursed energy control to protect him. Now, like I said, I don't know if that good degree of control would allow him to resist the slashes of Sukuna. Because Sukuna, I mean, he's basically able to unleash a dismantle that it can cut through the world. So I don't think it would matter how dense his cursed energy is. The question is, however, does he have a curse technique? And does he know reverse curse technique? With his understanding of cursed energy and how to control it and how to refine it, and for Yuta to be as strong as he is right now with his perfect cursed energy control and his output control being just pretty much perfect, I honestly wonder what Miguel can do. I'm pretty sure Sukuna ain't losing to Miguel, but if he can stall till some of the others wake up, we should be okay. Yeah, that goes without saying. Sukuna he's not serious, okay? The only time we saw him actually get a little bit into the fight was when he was fighting a person with a heavenly restriction, who was Maki, and he ended up knocking her out of the area where they were fighting. Like, there's a whole carved out portion of the ground where Maki just got knocked into. So now, since Sukuna's excitement was a little bit higher fighting against Maki, it has now gone down to like, okay, anyone who keeps saving all of these people, this is starting to get annoying now. And actually, how did Miguel grab Ui Ui so quick? No, can we talk about that real quick? It's really starting to settle in. How did Miguel grab Ui Ui so quick? Especially when Ui Ui was directly in front of Sukuna and Sukuna was preparing to kill him. Instantly, right then and there. How did Miguel get to him so fast? To where even Sukuna missed. I think he might too, and I'm excited to see what it is if he does have one, but he might not. He might not either, which if he doesn't, that's equally as exciting to me. I mean, he's just showing up. He's just showing up like, yeah, man, I've been out for a hot minute, but let's go. Let's go. So, no break. No break. That's interesting to me. So we're getting a My Hero chapter next week and a Jujutsu Kaisen chapter next week. No One Piece because we're currently on the 3-month break for him for that right now as Oda gets his rest. Overall, we haven't seen Miguel in a hot minute. It's been a while. Actually, the last time we saw Miguel was chapter 143, and that was all the way back in 2021. Yeah, one more time, 2021. And this is when Yuta, and this is when Naoya Zenin was still alive. Yeah, this is when Naoya Zenin was still alive. I'm trying to see if... Yeah. Mentions, let's see, Gojo then asks where Miguel is, but Yuta replies that he doesn't want to see, Gojo. Yeah, Miguel is mentioned. That's the last time we had a mention of Miguel in the series at all, was back in 2021. Really? 2021 on March 22nd, literally the day before my birthday back in 2021. That's the last time we heard from Miguel. Isn't it 3 weeks? Yes. Did I say 2 weeks? I'm pretty sure I said 3 weeks for One Piece. I'm pretty sure I said 3. Had to Google who Miguel was. Miguel's the dude with the white beret and the shades on. If you remember from Jujutsu Kaisen 0, he's the one that just got straight bodied by Gojo consistently, like that 25-piece chicken combo just got beat down by Gojo. That's him. But yeah, because it's a 3-week break, and then we'll have 11, 12, and then we'll be on break again because of Golden Week. Yeah. But yeah, it is 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure I said 3 weeks. But yeah. So now we got Miguel. The question is, after all this time that's been passed, all this time that's passed, what is Miguel gonna offer up against Sukuna to at least give people enough time to get ready again? Because Yuta's out of commission, Yuji's out of commission as well because he's still feeling the effects of trying to use a reverse curse technique to heal himself, but it's not perfected for him. Maki's been knocked down into another, knocked out is literally just knocked into another direction. Not knocked out like she's unconscious, but she's been knocked into another direction. Kusakabe's been slashed across the chest. He said 3 months, which had my heart leave my body for a second, but then used my brain cells to figure out what you meant. No. I meant to say 3 weeks. If I said 3 months, I meant to say 3 weeks. That's when we're supposed to be getting, that's where we're on a I said 3-month break, didn't I? I probably did. 3-week break for One Piece. But we're getting My Hero and more Jujutsu next week. I'm interested in seeing what Miguel's going to offer up against Sukuna during this time. And mind you, Kinji Akari has been currently frozen over by Uraume, so who knows if they're going to show up at any point. Since there was no one else to contend with Uraume, it was really Kinji and the benefits of his jackpot for his own domain expansion that allowed him to fight against Uraume for so long. Until Uraume, I guess, got serious as well and proceeded to freeze over Kinji, or Kinji's jackpot ran out and he stopped getting jackpots, and that's what allowed Uraume to freeze him over. But we'll see. We'll see next week where we go, especially with Miguel showing up. I don't know if it's just going to be Miguel or some other people that had sided with Geto prior and are still alive. Because the two girls, I forget their names, the one that had the schoolgirl clothes on and the one that had the camera phone, they're both dead, so they're not going to show up, obviously. But we'll see. We will see. And maybe we'll see if Miguel not only has a revert curse technique. Still haven't read Kinji's jackpot technique, nor will I. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Kinji Akari. Oh, it remembers the last thing I went to for Kinji. Let me see here. Jujutsu. Let's see. Domain expansion, Idle Death Gamble. Oh, this is long. Oh, this is long. This is long. This is long. This is long. I'll read it later. We'll have to see if Miguel has not only a curse technique, or maybe has a domain expansion of his own. We're going to have to see next week. Sorry if I've been rambling a little bit longer. I would have ended this normally, but I just felt like talking a little bit more about this. So it should be interesting to see what Miguel has to offer to this fight. Because so far, no one's been able to have a significant lasting effect on Sukuna versus Gojo, and Gojo just working him over. Because Sukuna, surprisingly enough, is still recovering from that. Mind you, a significant amount of time has passed for Sukuna, and he's been using a reverse curse technique to heal himself, especially after Kusakabe used his own slashes against, or got slashed by Kusakabe. And yet, oddly enough, he's still recovering. Like, he's not at 100%, otherwise he would have been one-shotting everybody. So he's still not at 100%. So, we're gonna have to see. Can't wait for Hakari to fight Sukuna because I feel it has to happen at some point, but he's being an MVP at the moment with keeping Uraume at bay. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Overall, we had some very good chapters of One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen today, and I'm looking forward to the next chapters we get from all three of the major series that I cover on these Sundays. Because we're starting to really approach the end of My Hero Academia, and I feel like, man, there's going to be a day that comes when I don't read My Hero Academia chapters on a Sunday anymore. And we're getting kind of close to that. So, yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But everyone here, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and watch me react to these chapters. I really do appreciate it. The channel keeps growing larger and larger, and I have all of you to thank. I got a busy week this week. I got voice work I'm going to be doing. I got games I'm going to be playing. series that I'm continuing, Dragon's Dogma, will continue tomorrow. And then, of course, we got some other things happening. One Piece Power Warriors 4 DLC this week, along with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Joker DLC. I'm going to be covering that too. And along with the final episode of Season 1 of Solo Leveling this upcoming Saturday. So, bunch of things happening. I'm just going to take it one day at a time, and I hope to see you guys alongside with me as we, embrace everything this week has to offer. So to everyone right here, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, even subscribe if you haven't already, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!